Welcome to Click to Learn More, the show that sounds like clickbait.
But it's actually two dorks.
I'm Dorm.
I'm Lidi.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's Halloween?
It's the most... No, it's, Lidi, the best season is finally upon us.
Award season.
No, the NFL season.
That's a good joke, though.
Yeah, it is a very good joke.
Because it is award season.
The NFL season.
And NFL stands for...
National Football League. National Fun League.
Okay.
Or as the XFL called it, the No Fun League.
What was the one with all the lingerie?
That was the that was the LFL, the Lingerie Football League.
Luffle.
The one that was on MTV?
I don't know. It's like a thing, isn't it?
Summer Rae, professional wrestler, was a member of
Luffle.
that. The Luffle.
The Luffle.
So that's right. We're talking about football. Are you ready for some football?
I'm ready for some football.
Also, I've never felt more qualified facially to talk about something.
Because you're everyone's dad right now.
I'm everyone's dad, and I look like Mike Ditka, and I'm very happy to support the Bears.
Oh, real quick.
Uh-huh.
The robot thing that would come on before Monday Night Football?
Yes.
Always scares my mom.
Really?
I don't know why. She said that freaks her out.
The Fox NFL guy.
Yeah. The NFL robot.
I get that. He's not very welcoming. And it's weird when they're like in Thanksgiving and he's got like a turkey and it's like, oh, that's weird.
I don't know. I don't know what it is, but she tells me, she's like, I don't like him. Like, she doesn't trust him. As if it's a real person that she knows in real life. And
I'm with her on that one.
I just don't trust him.
Not a great robot.
Yeah.
Anyway, a huge portion of my life has been devoted to the NFL.
Okay.
Obviously, I was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. Ran an unprecedented 4.12 at the Combine. Was drafted at the number 2 spot behind Sam Bowie by Chicago.
Yep, all checks out.
Then my legendary NFL career came to end days before I was supposed to start my dual roles of quarter and cornerback.
Oh, no.
I always said a cornerback to confuse opponents.
Of course, yeah.
As I pulled my pinky out of place. Still one of the great what-ifs of sports history.
God.
So, unfortunately,
what a sad story.
I can't play in the NFL anymore.
Oh.
Also, it's Sam Bowie, not Sam Bowie. But anyway.
I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Since then, I've been an avid watcher of the sport. It's my favorite of all the sport.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to derail for a second. In the state of Kentucky,
uh-huh,
the land of basketball, horse racing,
college basketball,
and bourbon.
Yeah.
It's football that leads you. But,
hell yeah.
But UK
is
horrendous at football.
They're
typically,
getting better. They're undefeated as of this recording.
Well, in history.
They beat Florida, finally. Anyway, you're right.
30-something years.
Yeah, you're right. It's weird. I do love college basketball. Mm-hmm. So before, I think my ranking now is, I don't know. NFL is number 1 for me.
Okay.
A tough second spot is either college football or college basketball.
Shoot, okay.
So it's one of those the second.
So football's
the other is third.
This is the thing that I'm not sure that I knew about you. Okay.
We'll get into.
No, he's ready.
It's my favorite among all the sports, and I get legitimately happy on Saturdays and Sundays during the college and NFL season. So I thought I'd talk about it. My sources today include History.com, the NFL itself, the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, which I've been to and is awesome.
Where is this?
Canton, Ohio.
Okay, all right.
Which is in between Dayton and I think it's right next to Akron. I think Akron and Canton are sister cities. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's right.
Okay.
And 538. Are you familiar with 538?
No.
So they are a statistics website that focuses mostly on like politics and polling and sports.
Okay.
Those are the two. Nate Silver runs it. It's phenomenal. If you like numbers, it's really cool. Let's get started. Pudge Heffelfinger.
What?
That's right.
That wasn't his Christian name.
Pudge Heffelfinger.
Not his Christian name.
That's the name of the first person to ever be paid to play a game of football.
Nobody pops a baby out and goes, I'm going to name him Pudge.
Pudge Heffelfinger.
Not his Christian name.
I don't think his real name was Pudge, no.
Could not have been. God wouldn't have allowed it.
Pudge Heffelfinger. Heffelfinger. In 1892, that's right, we're in the dorm era again. For some reason, everything I love started in like 1890s.
Yeah.
Like late 1800s, early 1900s. That's where I live. Only 16 years after the first rules of American football were written for a college level, by Walter Camp, who is Papa Football to most people. Not really, but he's the guy who invented football.
Okay.
Well, not invented, but
popularized it.
Yeah,
perhaps
similar to I think Naismith with basketball, right? Like,
okay,
a similar kind of thing.
Okay, fair.
At the Massasoit, I looked up how to pronounce that word, convention. That was where the rules were set at the Massasoit convention. Pudge was paid by the Allegheny Athletic Association, the AAA, to play against the Pittsburgh Athletic Club, the PAC. So Allegheny is a county in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
The AAA won the game on Pudge's game-winning fumble recovery for a touchdown, so money well spent.
Is this when they still wore the little leather caps?
Yes, this is very much in the Leatherheads days.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Wait, leather, that's a thing? Leatherhead?
Leatherhead is a term, yeah.
Holy...
This actually may have predated Leatherhead. This might have been before they wore leather
okay,
stuff.
so they didn't even have any head coverings,
right, yeah.
perhaps. Okay.
Leatherheads was actually a movie with George Clooney in it.
Okay, I thought that sounded familiar.
Yeah, I think that's the name of that movie. Anyway, any guess as to how much they paid him? In
what year?
1892.
1892.
To play one game against another athletic club.
1892 to play one game. $50.
Try again.
Higher?
Yes.
$200.
$500.
Holy jeez, that's a lot of money.
Just under 14 grand in today's money.
That's a lot of money even now.
Well played, Pudge.
I'd play some football for $500.
And that 14 grand
well,
today.
I'd still do it for $500. I don't even know the rules. I'd still do it.
It's funny you spoke of the rules.
Oh, yeah.
So the general idea of football is
as
this.
if people think we have we have a way to do this show.
General idea of football is this. I'm aware that there are people outside of the U.S. who will call soccer football.
Yes.
You're wrong. That's soccer.
Oh.
I'm talking about American football, not football. Football.
Oh, and that's the sound of us dropping
football.
dropping 15.
The one listener in Brazil is like, no, I'm done.
I'm done. Unsubscribe.
I speak Portuguese, so I was just listening to this as murmurs anyway, but I'm offended.
I heard you sass it, and I'm unsubscribing.
So football, not football.
Football.
Is this. 2 teams of 11 are on the field at all times.
Okay.
Those are your basic teams. The game starts with a coin toss.
Yeah.
And the winner of that toss chooses if they want to get the ball at the beginning of the game or at the beginning of the second half.
I am learning that I know nothing about football.
So in basketball, it's a tip-off.
Yes.
Right? And whoever doesn't win the tip, so whoever wins the tip gets the ball to start the first and the fourth quarter, and then who doesn't gets it the second and third quarter.
I know this much.
In football, it comes down to the coin toss. So if you win the coin toss, you can either say, I want it now, or I want it at the beginning of the second half.
What's the coin that they flip?
It's just it's usually like some commemorative thing.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
For the Super Bowl, it's always a big deal. It's like the Super Bowl 50 logo is
blah,
this,
blah,
and the
blah,
NFL
blah.
shield is this, but usually it's just like a heads and tails coin.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's pretty standard. So then the ball is kicked off. So whichever team decided they want to get the ball will receive the kickoff.
Okay.
They'll try to run it out. They'll probably get to about the 20-yard line. It's a game on a 100-yard field.
It's giant chess.
That's how I refer to it, yeah.
Okay.
It's very strategic.
So you've explained football to me before in
Yeah.
this way, because I've said very plainly, I just don't get it, and I don't care.
Which is not an uncommon complaint, by the way.
Okay.
I think I've had many friends throughout my life who either didn't understand it fully or didn't like it because they didn't understand it.
I thought for a long time that the lines they showed on the field were real, and then
The yellow line?
Yeah.
It looks really convincing, though.
And then I got teased
Aw.
mercilessly by my
Aw.
cousins who were like, "You stupid idiot." They put it in post.
That's sad.
Yeah.
So the ball's kicked off. The special teams are the people who kick off and receive the kick.
Okay.
Then whichever team is on offense, so whichever team, let's say the team won the coin toss, Team A won the coin toss, they decide they want the ball now, so Team A is now on offense.
Okay.
Whichever team on offense has 4 downs or plays to get a first down, which is 10 yards away.
Okay.
So the idea is to advance 10 yards, and that resets your down counter, basically. This is a made-up term, but if you get 10 yards, then you get 4 more plays. If you get 10 yards, then you get 4 more plays. See? So you just keep resetting.
Okay.
So you're going for a first down so you can reset the plays you can do.
Okay.
Or the ball is given over to the other team. So if
they fumble.
Well, yes, that's a possibility.
Okay.
So if you play on all 4 downs and you don't get the first down in 4 downs, right? In your 4 plays, you don't get 10 yards.
Okay.
Then I know this sounds really complex. It's way easier just watch a game, but trying to do it through audio is hard. So if you get your 4 plays and do not get to that first down marker, then the ball is automatically turned over to the other team.
Okay.
Now, The series of 10 yards per four downs play continue until the team scores or they commit a turnover.
Oh, so there's a turnover. Okay, I understand.
So a turnover is similar to basketball.
Okay, yeah. So I understand turnover.
A turnover is either a fumble or an interception.
Okay. All right.
If an offense fails to get a first down within its first 3 downs, they can choose, and most likely will, punt the ball away to the other team. So, say Team A gets the kick, right? Mm-hmm. They get 3 plays. Say they get 2 yards a play.
Okay.
So it was 1st and 10. It's always the down and the distance to go. So 1st and 10, they advance 2 yards. So 2nd and 8, they advance 2 yards. So 3rd and 6.
So much math.
Yeah. And so on 3rd and 6, they advance 2 yards. So now it's 4th and 4.
Okay.
So they could either try to go for 4 yards to get the first down, or they can punt. Now, what punting does...
Is punting like bunting in baseball?
Oh. So punting is a kick. So punting puts the ball on the other side of the field. So it's like a kickoff. You're punting to the other team. So you're saying, we're not going to make the first down.
You guys do it.
But we're going to make you play from further away.
Oh.
As opposed to if we turn it over now, then the other team would start from that point.
When they put it in the plastic thing? And that guy's got to run at it and kick it?
That is a kickoff. That's at the beginning of the game. Or after scores.
Okay.
There's a lot. There's a lot of
trying.
Intricacy. I know you are. I'm sorry.
But this should be a disclaimer, right? I'm going to represent everyone who literally knows nothing about football, because I literally know nothing about football. Except everybody's got very tight pants.
Hell yeah, they do.
I like it.
Why do you think I watch it? So they can punt the ball away to their team, conceding their chance on offense, but putting the other team further away from their goal line. They're trying to score.
Okay, gotcha.
Also, teams can choose to kick a field goal, which is 3 points. Instead of 7, or 6, which is a touchdown. Yeah. If close enough to the field goal. So if they advance past usually the 40-yard line, their own 40-yard line. So this is a dumb thing about football.
Okay.
All right? This is dumb.
Okay.
This is what makes it so hard to understand for a lot of people.
Okay.
The field goes... So from an end zone, which is the touchdown part that usually says like the team's name, like Bengals or Steelers or whatever.
Yeah.
So from end zone to end zone is 100 yards.
Okay.
So it goes the 0-yard line, which is the goal line, the 10, the 20, the 30, the 40, the 50, the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10, the goal line.
Okay.
So you're never going to be on like your opponent's 60-yard line.
Okay. I think, first of all, numbers, not my
strong
suit.
You are on their, it's weird. So, like, you're on your opponent's 20 instead of you're 80 yards away.
So, when they announce it, do they say they're on the 20 or do they say they're on the 80?
They would say, usually, they're on their opponent's 20. Or, like, they're going toward the 30. And it's strange. It's one of the weirdest parts about football.
Okay.
Like, you're never going to be on the 90-yard line because that's just not...
Did you grow up watching football?
Yes.
Like, as a baby dorm?
I did. And I got more into it than anybody in my family did.
Okay.
So, I'm a diehard Bengals fan. I've been a Bengals fan all my life.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
I know that much.
It's better than being a Browns fan.
I know that much.
But no one in my family is a Bengals fan, which is weird because they're the local team.
Huh.
Like, the quote-unquote local team. They're like 3 hours away. But
right.
My dad was a Broncos fan.
Okay.
When the Broncos were big, like with John Elway. My mom didn't really care about football, but liked the Bills. Just likes them generally.
Okay.
And like no one else really in my family watches it all that much.
Yeah.
So I actually taught my mom most of football.
Oh, cool.
Because she would just be watching. She would ask things. And,
right. Yeah.
Like so, I'd probably say 10 or 11 people in my life football.
Oh,
cool. It's much easier when you're just watching a game.
Yeah.
To do it than trying to put it out like this, but. This may seem super complex. Oh, look, me writing this a week ago said this. But once you watch a game for an hour or two, most of that concept settles in.
Okay.
The pace of the game will be apparent.
Okay.
The thing that most people have complained to me about football is the massive amount of penalties.
Okay, so is this when I talked about it and I was like, I feel like every 15 seconds they stop the play, which drives me crazy because in basketball there's there's something constantly happening 24/7. And in football, it's like, okay, we moved a foot, now we have to stop. Now we moved a foot, we have to stop. Like, that drives me insane.
Yeah. So, penalties are when they throw the little yellow flag, or their hat, or their shoe.
What?
This is an awesome...
Who's throwing the hat and shoe?
So, this is really cool.
Okay.
This is rarely ever experienced. Now, throwing your hat means somebody went out of bounds. But before, Before that was a rule. If you throw your penalty flag, that's penalty number 1 that you saw.
Okay.
If you throw your hat, that's penalty number 2 that you saw. And if you see a third penalty on one play, which is astronomical, you're supposed to throw your shoe. That's the next thing you throw. So
this is the ref?
Yes. So one of the, I think, 7 or 8 refs on the field. There are a bunch of refs. I plan on doing an episode entirely explaining the penalties of football at some point way in the future.
Okay.
But that will take a lot of time to set up to be comprehensible. Basically, if a referee throws a yellow flag, it means a penalty has been committed by one of the 2 teams, and that will be assessed accordingly.
Okay.
If you're new to football and trying to understand it, I recommend just taking the rule of thumb as that's all that you need to know. Like, there's going to be a penalty, it's going to be assessed. Don't try to understand why that penalty was called at first.
That's it, yeah.
Because there's a lot of minutia. Pass interference is probably the easiest one to get a hold of.
Okay.
So when a quarterback steps back, tries to throw to their wide receiver, and the defender like grabs their arm or stops them from catching it, and you'll hear the audience react to pass interference a lot. Like, people start booing. If you see a flag thrown, that's probably PI. Football has a very high understanding from the fans of what's going on a lot. Like, fans will boo when they think a penalty's been committed, which I guess that's true for all sports.
So can they sway the call? Okay.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't happen all the time, but if there's like a 50-50 call, right? Like, to see if it could have been pass interference, it could have not.
Right.
If the crowd's booing and the wide receiver is like whining, like, what? Why was there not a flag? Like, putting his arms out in the air.
Oh.
Then the flag will probably come out more. It's probably not that enough to impact the game overall, but it is a thing that happens.
Okay.
I recommend that you just understand that a penalties happen. You can try to understand if you want, but a lot of people get so overwhelmed by just trying to understand, well, why was that holding? Why was that offsides?
Okay.
It doesn't really matter as far as your enjoyment of the game. Just know that that's going to be either bad or good for your team, depending on who it's called for.
Okay.
I've been watching football my whole life, and I still get confused on the difference of the nuance between some penalties. For example, if you're a football fan, the difference between neutral zone infraction and offside, I still don't really know what that is. I think it's if you line up incorrectly as a defender, it's NZI, but if you jump, it's offside, but still, that just comes with time. You'll even hear announcers say, like, oh, that was offside, and the ref will call it neutral zone infraction. And so it's like, even the announcers, it's
that's
like a 50-50 call.
Okay.
So back to the history.
Yes.
There's your basic rundown of what football is.
Yes. So
following in Pudge's footsteps, a sentence that's just so awesome I had to write it like that. A halfback or a running back is what most people would call them. Grant Dilbert signs the first ever pro football contract, agreeing to play for the Pittsburgh Athletic Club for the entire year.
So football originated in Pittsburgh?
Football originated in, I'm not actually sure where it started, but it was very popular in places that had, like working class towns. Okay. And Pittsburgh was the steel city, known for its steel industry.
Steelers.
That's why they're the Steelers.
Okay.
But it really started with colleges. College football was where football started.
Oh.
But professional football really took hold in athletic clubs, so like YMCAs and places like that, because a lot of these men were working during the day and then wanted something to do outside of it during the weekends and stuff.
Recreational.
So a lot of these guys were just working 9-to-5 jobs at a factory or at a steel house or whatever, and ended up joining a football team, and that's sort of how professional football started. I don't know if Mike picked that up, but it's not like my roommate fell.
No, I dropped my phone.
Oh, that was you. All right.
I dropped my phone. We don't talk about it.
So this is a trend you're probably noticing, but most of these were athletics clubs or YMCAs. That's because college football was all the rage in the world of football. And after 4 years of graduation, most of these men would go on to work normal, mostly industrial jobs in larger cities that they attended school in.
Okay.
There were no existing professional teams yet, so these were largely schedules based on teams agreeing to meet, not too different from like college intramural sports now. By 1897, Allegheny Athletic Association and the Latrobe Athletic Association, both in Pennsylvania, had fielded and assembled completely professional football teams where every member of the team was compensated.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
So professional just meant paid. That's all it really means.
So in
any sports, really.
Yeah.
If you're professional, that means
you're
paid.
A professional, you're paid to do it. Okay.
Yes.
That's fair.
In 1899, we had the formation of what is now the oldest ongoing team in football. Chris O'Brien formed the Morgan Athletic Club on the south side of Chicago. They would become the Normals, which is an awesome name.
The Normals?
Yeah, that was they were like the Morgan Normals, which is awesome. Then the Racine, which is the name of a street in Chicago, Cardinals. Then the Chicago Cardinals. then the St. Louis Cardinals, not the baseball team, and then the Phoenix Cardinals, and now the Arizona Cardinals, which is an NFL team.
So it just, like, kind of traveled.
Yeah. So I think there was
counterclockwise motion.
It just kind of moved. It was in Chicago and just kind of moved to Arizona when
Weird.
When it was,
okay.
Yeah, when they were an NFL team. I had no idea the Cardinals were the oldest team in pro football. I would have guessed like the Packers or Bears or somebody.
I would have said the Steelers, considering how much we're talking about Pittsburgh.
Then something happened that shocked the sports world. Baseball happened. So baseball was already happening,
pastime.
But it erupted in popularity.
America's pastime.
Yeah, so like 1898, 1899 is when baseball just took off, became huge.
What? How?
Radio. So games were
Oh.
being broadcast on the radio now, and baseball, if you've ever watched a game of baseball, kind of boring compared to normal sports.
Shoutcasting now.
But it is perfect for audio only. Because of the pace of it.
Because nobody's going to watch baseball.
Right.
They just want to hear it.
So it was already America's game at this time, but the World Series started in 1903.
Oh,
which is the big championship for baseball.
Okay.
Baseball was absolutely perfect for radio, and I've made the argument that baseball announcing was some of the first podcasts ever made. Because
that's fair.
If you've ever listened to some of those old baseball tapes, there was a Sirius station that we used to listen to in high school that was like just old radio serials.
Oh, that's really cool.
And they would just sometimes put baseball games on.
That's cool.
Because the announcers would just talk to each other about whatever was going on during the game.
That's how Captain America knew that he was in the modern world.
That's
because
true.
they played the radio, and he was at that game.
He was in fake New York City.
So he knew that was fake.
Conversely, football was getting more and more cutthroat. Privately owned teams were now bidding against one another for the best players, which made salaries skyrocket in a sport that could not afford it.
Oh shoot!
Because they weren't making much money from these games because college football was still so popular.
Yeah, how are they supported?
So they were usually privately owned.
Okay.
So one businessman or another would own them, pay them, finance them, whatever.
And then tickets, I guess.
Yeah,
ticket
and then
sales
they would try to make their money back on tickets, but because they were outbidding each other so much, it just skyrocketed the price of every player, and they weren't making enough money to make it make sense financially. So on August 20th, 1920, Ralph Hay, Hay.
Hey.
Owner of the Canton Bulldogs, the then champions of the Ohio League.
Ooh.
Called a small group of owners to his car lot.
Of course he had a car lot.
Yeah, so again, the privately owned thing. Like, it was usually just a guy.
Car lot. Okay.
In the Hupmobile, which was a type of car that I did not know existed. In the Hupmobile showroom, 14 men set out with one goal. Quote, they put out this little presser. To raise the standard of professional football in every way possible, to eliminate bidding for players between rival clubs, and to secure cooperation in the formation of schedules. After a month of deliberation, the deal had been struck. 11 professional football clubs had formed the American Professional Football Association, the APFA.
Yeah, that's so long-winded.
Not the NFL we're used to.
So long-winded.
The teams. The Akron Pros,
the
Canton Bulldogs,
the
Cleveland Indians, not the baseball team, the Dayton Triangles.
Sorry, somebody was just a huge fan of geometry.
I like that one. That one's great. Did you imagine rooting for the triangles? Like, go Angles? That's great.
What? Like, the Louisville rhombuses? Like, what? Like, who comes up with this? Who said triangles?
I love it. That's great. The Decatur Staleys. I don't even know what a Staley is.
The Columbus Diamonds. Don't forget them.
The Hammond Pros. The Massillon Tigers.
Okay, the Cleveland Cubes. Don't forget them.
The Muncie Flyers.
Muncie?
Yeah. Okay. Muncie, Indiana.
Yeah.
The Racing Cardinals, which we mentioned.
Okay.
The Rochester Jeffersons.
Sorry.
Which I think, doesn't it sound like it's just the owner's name?
Yeah.
Like, hi, I'm Rochester Jefferson, and these are the Rochester Jeffersons.
And these are my boys.
And
they're my dudes.
And the Rock Island Independents.
Okay, so I kind of respect that, because they're just like, you know what? We're just going to do our own thing.
Screw you guys, we're the Independents.
We're just going to do our own thing.
This is awesome.
Okay.
So unfamiliar were the teams with each other that even the meeting minutes mistakenly listed the Cardinals, which played home games at Normal Park, that's why they're in the Normals, by the way, on Chicago's Racine Avenue, so the Racine Chicago, they listed the minutes as the team being from the Wisconsin City Racine. So those guys didn't even know they were from Chicago. Like, nobody knew.
First of all, I love the fact that there's a park named Normal.
Yeah. The normal park.
We're just going to go to the normal park tonight, guys.
Awesome.
I love when new sports start because none of it makes sense. Nobody knows what's going on. Nobody has any...
It's like basketball.
Inkling. Yeah, nobody has any inkling of any idea of what's happening whatsoever.
In the most movie shit ever, there wasn't enough room to house all the representatives to hash out the weeks-long deal. So they sat on the fenders of the cars with an icy bucket of beer until the deal was made. Awesome.
So they just got drunk.
Yeah, they just got drunk, chit-chatted for months.
So the person that had the highest tolerance...
probably got the best deal.
Got the best deal.
Of course, yeah. Because
they're like, listen, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about. And everybody else was like, okay.
We're the independents.
We're drunk.
So their first item as an official association on the list, choose a president. The choice was made incredibly easy as the world's greatest athlete and star college football player / Olympic gold medalist Jim Thorpe was in attendance. He was as recognizable a name as was involved in sports at the time and made sure that the sporting world as a whole would take notice of this new league. So today's equivalent would be if LeBron James was announced as a president of a basketball association. People would probably notice it and it would have instant credibility.
Yeah.
So this next bit is directly from history.com.
Okay.
Because it is very in detail. The first game involving an APFA team took place on September 26, 1920 at Douglas Park in Rock Island, Illinois, which is where the Independents played.
Okay.
As the hometown Independents flattened the St. Paul Ideals.
Ideals? That's a good team name.
48-0. The first head-to-head battles in the league occurred 1 week later as Dayton toppled Columbus 14-0 and Rock Island pasted Muncie 45-0. Rock Island was the shit.
Shoot, yeah, I reckon.
So while the gridiron dimensions were the same as today, 100 yards from end zone to end zone, the pro game itself was quite different. Forward passes were rare. Coaching from the sidelines was prohibited.
How did they coach?
It was usually like a player coach. No joke.
You couldn't coach mid-game? The coach?
You couldn't have a coach on the sideline coaching. So usually what happened is like the quarterback was also the coach.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, isn't it weird? It's so strange.
So when did you see your actual coach? Or was he always there? He just couldn't say anything?
No, usually, like I said, usually one of the players was the coach.
They didn't have a dedicated coach?
No. It wasn't like this guy's job is to coach the team.
You had to literally be the quarterback and the coach?
Yeah. Or
that's
the
so
linebacker
stressful.
and the coach or whatever.
That's so stressful.
So this was also in the era of football where like everybody played on offense and defense. So instead of having like a guy that's our linebacker, which is defensive.
They were flex characters.
They would be like, this is our running back / linebacker. And this is our quarterback / tight end.
So they didn't need it. They didn't need a coach.
I mean, they did.
No.
Everybody needs a coach.
No.
That's the Overwatch League. They all need coaches.
No. They had it.
Let's see. Where did I leave off?
Coaches.
Coaching from the sidelines was prohibited, and players competed on both offense and defense. Money was so tight that George Halas, who was a player coach that is like legendary, one of the greatest coaches of all time, just because how early he was and he was good at coaching.
Okay.
Money was so tight that George Halas carried equipment, wrote press releases, sold the tickets, taped ankles, played and coached for the Decatur Club.
And did all of this?
Did all of it.
Taped up ankles?
Yeah, so he
sold tickets?
Yeah.
He's back in the concession stand popping popcorn.
Mid-game, yeah, like, oh, guys, I gotta go check on my hot dogs.
Oh, you guys run this real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I heard a ding. I think the popcorn's done.
It's such a cool thing.
That's wild.
As opposed to today's standard 16-game schedule, clubs in 19 scheduled their own opponents and could play non-league and even college squads that counted toward their record.
So could you choose the team you played?
Yep. Yeah. So
you're going to pick the team that's crap every time.
So a lot of early sports were like this, where you kind of just set your own schedule. And the reason people would play harder teams in the early days, especially like college football, was so that if they beat them, it would be like a statement of like, we're better than this team.
So this was just
since we beat Notre Dame, then we're the best team in the world.
This was just a bunch of kids playing sports.
Yeah, I mean like 23, 24-year-old guys.
Right? But like they were playing on the streets of New York and saying like, car! And had to move out of the way.
It wasn't that
you know what I mean?
League.
Like like being able to choose the teams you play and stuff. Like that's kind of wild.
The wildest thing to me is that you could play a college team.
Yeah.
So, like, an actual professional football team and I don't know how that would work with the college world. I guess they would just be considered like a scrimmage.
So would they just pick on them?
I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming college teams were pretty good, so I would say then was probably the closest college athletes and professional athletes would have been, right? Because professional athletes weren't really established at the time, so they were just college guys who were a couple of years older.
We're gonna play against the Louisville Loonies, and then they just smush them.
Yeah.
Poor little guys.
Is that from an insane asylum? What is the
I don't know. I don't know.
Or the Canadian coin?
Yeah, they're Canadian.
From Louisville, Canada, right?
Yeah, they're Canadian transplants from... Yeah.
With no established guidelines, the number of games played and the quality of opponents scheduled by APFA team varied, and the league did not maintain official standings.
Okay.
So, like, even if everybody had a record, right? Like, we've won 5 games and lost 2 games or whatever, so you're 5-2. Then... because the opponents varied so much, the APFA couldn't rank them. Because 5-2 against a bunch of colleges might mean different than 5-2 against a bunch of fellow APFA teams, right? Or even, how do you judge somebody who's beat 3 professional teams against somebody who's beat 5 non-professional teams? So it was a crapshoot. Oh. It was awful.
So there was no actual, like, regulation about anything.
So with this weird regulation thing, you're probably wondering, who won the first Super Bowl?
Heck yeah!
Well...
And when was it?
The Super Bowl wouldn't be created for another 47 years, so we got a while.
Whoa!
Instead, at this time, teams voted on the winner.
Okay.
Much how college did it, the coaches poll is still a thing in college.
Really? So...
The way college works now, it's a playoff if you're in the top 4 teams. Otherwise, they're smaller bowl games. Okay. We're not going to get into that. Bowl games are confusing. But say you're in the top 4 teams, right? Now you're going to be in a playoff. That was established only 3 years ago. It's awesome.
Okay.
But the way that's decided is that they call it the AP coaches poll. And so, like, they ask the coaches at however many schools, who do you think the best team in the nation is? And that's how the number 1 is decided.
But you can't
and the
say
number
your
2
own?
is decided. Well, I don't know.
No.
You might be able to. I'm not sure. I doubt it.
Just say my own every time.
Right, but like you're not going to say your own because you know there's also a press poll. That's the AP. So
mine's always the best.
There's the AP poll and the coaches poll. I combined them. My bad. So like coaches vote on one and the AP votes on one. Usually the AP, which is Associated Press, will be the actual rankings they take.
Pay them off.
But coaches.
Just pay them off.
But they have to go by guidelines.
Yeah, the guidelines is my $50. I slipped them in their pocket. That's the guidelines.
Each of them? That's expensive.
That's
Pudge Heffelfinger money.
I will go the distance for my tiny team.
You're gonna do the Pudge.
I will do the well. I don't know if I'll go that far.
Listen, I've been doing the Pudge all my life. I
don't know if I'll go so far as to get down on the Pudge, but
pudging it up.
I don't know if I'm gonna pudge it up, but I'm gonna consider it. $50 says I might consider it.
So the Super Bowl football wouldn't be created for another 47 years. Instead, at this time, teams voted on the winner.
That's wild to me.
Yeah. So the first Super Bowl was 67.
What did they do? So they're just playing games against their friends at this point, or they're just continuously playing games.
So there was still a season.
Okay, so during football season, they were still playing games.
Yeah, they
just didn't have
a championship.
Okay.
Right.
So what caused them to have who said, let's have a championship?
We'll get there in a minute.
All right.
But let me get my notes back up. And according to history, again, team representatives voted the Akron Pros, who completed the season undefeated with 8 wins and 3 ties, while yielding only a total of 7 points. So, sorry, I messed that sentence up terribly. So, Akron Pros win the vote, right?
Okay.
They won with 7 votes.
Okay.
The champion, in spite of protests by one-loss teams of Decatur and Buffalo, who each had tied Akron and had more wins. So they're saying, we've had more wins.
Right.
Even though we may have lost a game.
Right.
Because we played more games.
Right.
The victors received a silver cup donated by sporting goods company Brunswick Bikey Colander.
They gave them a camping cup.
Yeah, exactly.
They said, good luck, heat your beans up in this.
A silver trophy. And
they said, here you go,
here's the beans cup.
Here's your beans cup.
I'm just thinking of Blazing Saddles.
No, beans.
While playing While players were not given diamond-encrusted rings, they did receive golden fobs in the shape of a football.
Wait, what's a fob?
A fob is like a little keychain.
So you got a golden keychain?
Well, it's like a little gold, like, I guess like a pin or something, probably.
What?
And it said,
nowadays, you get a ring with like 15 jewels on it.
Yeah, it's worth.
And at the time, you got a little tiny football.
And it says World Champs on it.
And it just says Champs. That's like something your mom gets you when you win your Little League game. Yeah, when you win your Little League game and your mom gets you one that says like Best Thrower. And that's all it says.
That known Little League award.
Yeah,
best
and it just
thrower.
says Best Thrower, and it's a little tiny football, and you get it in the class breaks the first 30 seconds you have it. Thanks for nothing, Mom.
Wow.
That's why I hate football now.
Now. You used to love it.
I used to love the sport.
So for 4 acre... What? I said 4 acres.
That's how big the course used to, not the course.
Well,
it's going off the rails. We're going off the rails. That's how big the what's the thing?
Field?
That's the thing. The field used to be 4 acres.
For 4 decades.
God, I tried to
wasn't even close.
Tried to do a goof and backfired.
4 decades. After its 1920 inception, the NFL successfully fended off several rival leagues.
Okay.
But in 1960, it encountered its most serious competitor when the American Football League formed.
Bum, bum, bum.
That was the AFL. The AFL vied heavily with the NFL for both players and fans. But by the middle of the decade, the strain of the competition led to serious merger talks between the 2 leagues.
What? You said merger talks.
Merger. Yes, not murder. Sorry, I know you picked up.
No. I thought you said murder talks, and I was like, is this a code word?
No. Prior to the 1966 season, the NFL and AFL reached a merger agreement that was to take effect in 1970.
So what was the difference between the NFL and the AFL?
Just the teams that made up of it. They were still playing by the same
because it's
rules.
still like the American Football League and the National Football League,
Right,
which is the same thing.
It's not like when the XFL formed and they're like, we're going to do everything different. Like, no,
right.
they're still playing football, but like,
yeah,
the AFL was just a rival league that was like, we're actually going to have some clout and money behind us. So they were a pretty big threat to the NFL's success. So they both agreed the best course of action for everybody, instead of one of us winning, is to merge.
Okay.
So prior to the 1966 season, the NFL and AFL reached a merger agreement, not murder agreement, that was to take effect by the 1970 season. As part of the merger, the champions of the 2 leagues agreed to meet in a world championship game for professional American football until the merger was effected. That's when the Super Bowl was created.
Oh.
So the Super Bowl was actually the champion of the NFL, the champion of the AFL. Which is funny because now it's the champion of the NFC and the AFC. So they're the conferences.
Okay. Yeah, the conferences instead of the leagues. Okay, So
the NFC and the AFC still basically stand for the same thing. I'm assuming it's just National Football Conference and American Football Conference.
Okay.
But the NFC and the AFC meet up. The winner of each conference meets up for the Super Bowl.
That's kind of cool, though. That still like holds true.
That's basically still how it is, yeah.
Yeah, that's neat.
Baseball kind of did a similar thing with I forget what their conferences are called. But anyway, they
just call them balls.
Yeah. What?
The conferences are just called balls, like a fancy dance.
Oh my god, not that kind of conference, Lidi.
Like a fancy dance, you know.
Welcome to the baseball. Jeez.
Oh, they play a dubstep.
Ah, that's good. Fuck.
Oh, they play a dubstep at the baseball.
That's very
I don't know why that's the voice.
At the baseball.
At the baseball.
We're actually in the 1920s playing dubstep.
Baseball.
Baseball.
I don't know. Yeah, and then the bass. And then the beat drops. Oh.
So, since then, football has grown and grown in popularity, eclipsing the baseball it once rivaled.
Yeah.
In popularity as the most watched sport in the United States.
I was going to say, I would assume specifically the NFL, and then maybe the NBA.
I think...
What are the top 3 sports, you think?
Well, yeah, you're right. From revenue, it depends on what metric we're taking, but I think from revenue it is the NFL, the MLB, and the NBA. I'm not sure which is higher among popularity. I don't know how they gauge popularity. I think it's views.
Yeah, it has
which
to be,
makes me think baseball might still be higher because they play more games.
Than the NBA?
Yeah, because they play like 160 games in baseball. I think it's 162. 81 home, 81 away.
As opposed to how many in the NBA?
NBA plays 84 games, I think. That's not right. I don't remember how
You
many
just know
games
numbers. You just have numbers that are just like at your disposal.
And then the NFL...
You could have said they play 300 games a year, and I would have been like, wow. I would have just believed it, because I don't know.
And then the NFL plays 16 games.
The NFL plays 16 games?
Mm-hmm. Once a week for 17 weeks, but each team gets a bye.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
16 games?
And then the playoff, whatever playoff
Well, I guess
games.
it's fair, because they do, like, mash their brains and stuff against their skulls.
Yeah, it takes a lot longer to prepare for a football game, and it's a lot harder hitting than baseball, which is no contact.
Yeah, that's
Except
totally
for, like,
fair.
catchers and people sliding into home. Anyway.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
NFL's my favorite sport. It was cool. I learned a lot of stuff in doing this. I didn't know anything about like, the
no,
early
that was
history.
super cool.
Even though I'd been to Canton, which is where the Pro Football Hall of Fame is, they don't really talk about, like, this kind of stuff. It sort of starts when, like, probably, like, the 1940s, I guess, like, when the Leatherheads, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
That's sort of everybody's collective, that's when football started.
Okay.
But it was actually before that, when, like, they don't really talk about the athletic clubs.
So they called it a pigskin because it is pigskin.
Yeah, it's leather. Well, it's leather now. But they call it a pigskin because, I think it was made from pigs.
It used to just be a baby pig.
Yeah. Yeah, they just
that's sad. Oh, I made myself sad.
Every pass.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I thought about throwing a baby pig
Aww.
back and forth. No, but they loved it. It's okay. Everybody
they try
loved
to catch it. That's why they catch footballs like that.
Yeah,
they try to
they catch it like they're holding a baby. Yep,
Yeah.
I feel better now.
You're good.
I feel better now.
But yeah, that was really cool for me. I didn't know as much about Pudge Heffelfinger as I thought I would.
That was really cool.
Thanks.
Because like I told you, I literally know nothing about football. I've tried to sit down and watch a game, and I just zone out. So I like knowing the history behind it. I think that helps understand and maybe care a little bit more about nowadays.
Right.
As opposed to what it used to be.
Like I said, I could probably do a whole episode just on penalties alone. There are so many penalties. Like if someone asked me what sport do you think you could ref, it would be football, easily.
Really?
Which is funny because it has probably the most intricate rules of any sport.
Is that your favorite?
Actually, baseball would probably be
That's your favorite sport?
Yes.
Of all time. And your favorite team?
Or the Bengals.
The Bengals.
Yeah.
And that last time they won a game.
Well, they won this week, but they've not won a playoff game, which is when it really matters, in my entire life.
So what's the difference between a regular game and a playoff game?
So at the end of, so you know how March Madness is in basketball?
I love that you're telling me through basketball references.
It's another sport.
No, that's good because that's one that I understand. Yes.
So March Madness are the college basketball playoffs. So if you lose in the playoffs, you're done. The winner of those playoffs is the champion.
Okay.
Same for football.
I totally get that.
Same for most sports, really. But the playoffs, so the Bengals haven't won a playoff game, which is when it really matters, my entire life.
Oh, no.
The last time they won
They haven't won one in 10 years?
They haven't won a playoff game since 1987. I don't know the last time they won one, but
shoot,
the Bengals have never won a Super Bowl. One of the only teams who have never won one.
But they've gone.
They've been to a Super Bowl, and they lost twice to Joe Montana and the 49ers. Because
you kind of said that a little angrily. Like, you're not
Joe
a fan of...
The drive, which is a notorious football thing, happened against the Bengals. Like, big comeback drive in the Super Bowl happened against the Bengals. Otherwise, they would have won. I've watched both these games multiple times in my life.
This has to be an episode because I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, the drive?
The drive.
Okay.
I don't know what that is.
So the drive was, I can talk about it really quickly.
Okay.
Like, the Bengals were up, I think, 4 or 5 points. I don't know. Don't go at me. But Joe Montana had a legendary... So when you drive...
Is this going to be our Christian Leitner?
Basically, yeah. It's a football version of Leitner. It's not a Hail Mary. It's not like the Doug Flutie, but...
no. I already don't like this.
So a drive in football is a bunch of plays that gain positive yards, right? Like you're driving down the field.
Right, okay.
The mic, sorry.
You're just very hype about it. It's okay.
So the drive, quote, the drive, end quote, like that is what people call it.
Okay.
Was like a very end of the game, last minute drive from the 49ers to end up and win that Super Bowl.
Okay.
That they played the Bengals in.
Okay.
Otherwise, the Bengals would have won. So it was much like Leitner, where Leitner hit the shot and they won that game. Then
Leitner stepped. We're not going to talk about it, but he stepped on a guy.
Yeah, he did. He should have been ejected. He stepped on Walter McCarthy. McCarthy.
He stepped on a fella.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
It's funny because I've never even watched that game in entirety.
Everybody hates Christian.
But I know
Leitner.
who he stepped on because everybody talks about it.
Everybody hates Christian Leitner.
Yeah.
And Duke.
Yeah. There are great UK shirts that we're derailing, but there are great Kentucky shirts that just say "I still hate Leitner."
Yes.
That's great.
When I was really little, my mom said, I mean, I was too young to remember it, but my mom said that I had already gone to sleep, but everybody in my household was watching that game and screamed so loud when that happened that I woke up crying. Aww. So, of course, it has embedded itself in my psyche for the rest of my days.
Leitner.
How dare you, Leitner? How dare you? And also, how dare you, footballmans?
You know, in a weird twist of fate, this is about basketball, but Leitner was on the Dream Team. So, do you know about the Dream Team in basketball?
No.
So, like Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, like everybody who was on a really good NBA team.
Leitner was with all of...
For the USA in the Olympics in 86, 92, 96. I forget what year it was, 92.
Leitner got to be there.
92? So,
I will say it's definitely after 86.
Yeah, it was 92. USA basketball... Maybe it was 96. Whichever one it was. I think it's 92. USA basketball always takes one college athlete with them to the Olympics.
Okay.
And it's a bunch of NBA guys and one college athlete. So when they were scrimmaging... So they took Leitner, because Leitner was the best college basketball player at the time. I hate saying it, but it was. Michael Jordan has said when they would play 5-on-5, whichever team had Leitner lost. Yeah, that's right, Jordan. So that's pretty cool.
Michael Jordan was my favorite basketball player. But let's get back into football.
We're done.
I learned a lot, though.
Yeah, good.
I really did. And I would watch a football game. Because I feel like you could explain a football game to me, like...
I would be happy
a lot more patiently than I feel like people have in the past.
I would be very happy to.
Normally
Nothing would make me happy.
Normally I just go, I don't know what's happening. They stop moving.
And then they call you out for it and they're mean.
Yeah,
that's what a lot of people do. And that's not how you get people into something.
Because I don't understand. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can go on a tangent. The way to get people interested in a thing that you like is to not make fun of them.
And be patient with them.
Because they don't understand what's happening. Yeah. Be patient and teach them.
Somebody had to explain it to them.
Yeah. Don't just gonna have to explain football to me.
Yeah. Football's great.
I would watch a football game.
Good. Let's do it.
Yeah. We'll watch a football game.
Okay, cool.
We'll check back in after.
Sweet.
Too sweet.
Hey. Liddy, where can people find you?
Twitch.tv/Team Liddy. Where can people find you?
Twitch.tv/dormstreams.
We have a merch store.
We have Instagram.
We have Twitters.
We have Discords.
You have a Patreon. I always use it against you. Like I always try to use well, I try to like to keep it going. I always use it against you. What else do we have?
We're on YouTube.
We're on YouTube. I said merch store, yeah?
Yeah. I think that's it. I think we covered all of them.
Is that all we have?
I think so.
Gosh, we gotta get more links.
Also,
we gotta do more
I don't know. We've got a lot. We've got a lot going.
I mean, there's a lot happening.
Also, if you're listening to this on iTunes or a podcast service, give us a little rate.
Yeah, give us a little like.
I don't know how, but apparently it helps us out. I always hear podcasts say that, like, give us a like and subscribe.
Maybe
or whatever.
It boosts us up in the ratings or something. I don't know.
SEO thing,
I don't know. And if you have any topics you specifically want to hear about,
keep
it to yourself. No,
whoa, damn. Yeah, I'm starting to get to the point. I said this on stream the other day, where like I'm starting to get to the point where I made a list. We both made lists when we first.
I have mine's still huge.
Because when we first talked about this, we both like went in our separate corners, made our list.
Yeah.
And that's actually what made us start doing the podcast because we were both like, we have so much to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get that list is starting to get narrower and narrower for me.
I mean, I think our show has kind of like grown and evolved based on how we've talked about things. So when we first started, we proposed the show to each other in a different way than what it has become. I think. Yeah.
The first episode sounds really different than this.
But it has become something that I think is better than what we had thought it could have been.
Yeah, me too.
Which I really like. So we appreciate you. If you're listening, we appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for listening or watching or whatever you're doing.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, and if you're here, you've made it through the entirety of the thing. So
oh gosh.
Tweet at both of us or at Click to Learn More. Tweet the word.
You got to come up with it.
Tweet Pudge.
Wait, what's the guy's full name?
Heffelfinger. I don't want people trying to spell that.
Yeah, Heffelfinger.
Heffel.
Hashtag Pudge.
Yeah, just hashtag Pudge.
Hashtag Pudge.
And put an image of Guy Fieri.
No, why?
No, not Guy Fieri.
Why? Not don't give him credit.
Put an image of... Who do we want to put in this
Michael
picture?
Michael Jackson.
No, that's perfect. Put an image of Michael Jackson. Nope, Michael Jackson. Put an image of Michael Jackson.
Put an image of Christian Leitner stepping on that man and put hashtag Pudge. Hashtag how dare you, Christian Leitner.
Hashtag BBN.
Yeah,
which is Big Blue Nation if you didn't know.
Hashtag Big Blue Nation, perfect. Hashtag we still hate Christian Leitner.
Well, until next time.
Watch where you click. Be careful where you click.
We say both of them. It's fine.
The shirts say be careful where you click.
They do, but we've never really solidified. I can make a watch where you click version.
We'll do it again.
Okay.
Do it again.
I get to decide in the edit?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, until next time.
Be careful where you click.